He's there. You're looking at President Trump touring the new Alligator Alcatraz migrant detention center. That's in the Florida Everglades. Listen to what he said earlier to Peter Doocy before he left the White House this morning.
Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah. It's the idea that if some illegal immigrant escapes, they just get eaten by an alligator or a snake or something?
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If snakes are fast, but alligators are, but we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%, okay? Not a good thing.
Well, look who's here. Former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf is with us. Chad, that did seem a little harsh, putting these guys in Alligator Alcatraz. Do you think the public supports this?
Well, I think this makes a lot of sense, right? If the public understands why the administration is doing this. The state of Florida is actually, you need more detention spaces in the state of Florida. There is a lack of detention facilities there. So when we're talking about up to 5,000 beds, this makes a lot of sense. It's also co-located next to a 10,000-foot runway. So again, that's the ideal scenario if you're DHS, which is you're able to remove individuals to this facility, wait till you get a plane full, and then remove them without more transportation costs. So there's a lot of inherent benefits for this facility, aside from the far part that it's in the Everglades.
But, you know, if ICE goes on a workplace sweep, they round up people outside a Home Depot who are looking as day laborers, and then they're marched off and they're put in Alligator Alley. Do you think the public buys that? Is there a political fallout for putting detainees in such difficult surroundings?
Well, I don't know how difficult it's going to be. Again, they're going to be in a detention facility that has walls. They are obviously instructed that they are not to leave. If individuals choose to try to abscond and try to leave a detention facility, which is a federal facility, right? It's going to be run by the state, but it's going to be overseen by DHS. Obviously, there's consequences to that. Now, obviously, being the Everglades, there's more consequences than
yes.
Perhaps being just in the middle of the state of Texas or New Mexico. But again, these are federal law enforcement facilities that will have guards, that will have detention officers there. So they're not, the folks that are there are not just free to roam as they will. But if they choose to escape, obviously they've got some difficult surroundings. They
certainly do. Next one, I want to talk about the phone app that alerts users to ICE sightings in their area. Border czar Tom Homeland says it is incredibly dangerous. He was on the show earlier and said this.
This app is going to give the bad guy heads up that we're coming, which means more bad guys are going to escape arrest, which makes this country less safe. It's a matter of time before someone uses this app and ambushes ICE officers. This puts ICE officers at great risk.
Homeland says he wants the Justice Department to get involved in this. Do you want to see the app shut down?
I do, and I agree with Tom 100%. Look, ICE officers have a very difficult job. They put on the badge, they put on a gun every single day, not knowing if they're going to go home to their loved ones. And what they don't need is an individual through an app trying to identify them. So again, as Tom said, the bad guys know who they are and can take appropriate action. Look, you've got other networks like CNN that are doing full biographies on the app developer. I think that's the wrong thing to do. We shouldn't be giving it any daylight, any airtime here, and the DOJ should take a look at it. You can't do this for all law enforcement officers if they're going to release personal identifying information.
2 Chinese nationals have been arrested for allegedly spying on U.S. Navy service members and on bases. They're accused of recruiting personnel for China's Ministry of State Security. First off, Chad, do you think maybe Xi Jinping does he know about this? Is he organizing a spying operation in the United States? And what can we do to stop it?
Yeah, I'm going to assume he does. And again, I think this happens, I know it happens all too often. And the vast majority of these types of cases don't get reported on. The CCP is doing this in high numbers, and they're doing this in the homeland, trying to steal intellectual property, trying to get other individuals and other Americans to give them sensitive and classified information. This is an ongoing threat. That's why I continue to say that the threat from that Chinese, the Communist Chinese Party, is real, and it's probably our most existential threat here in the homeland.
And it's the result of basically an open border, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, during the 4 years of the Biden administration, you had upwards to 50,000 or more Chinese nationals come across that border, and we don't know who they are. Very difficult to vet them. The vast majority of them have not been returned back to China, and so they're here in the United States. This is why open borders has real consequences, and unfortunately, whether it's the Iranians or the Chinese or any number of other nationalities that came across that border, we are now starting to see the consequences of that.
We are indeed. Chad Wolf, thanks for joining us this morning. We'll see you again soon. Thank you, Chad. Law enforcement group